Today, shining the light on kidney disease is Dr. Kelley Neal. Dr. Kelley
Hello.
Neal is a kidney coach. She's an author. She's waiting for her kidney transplant, and she has so much information to share with you. Let's welcome her. Hi, Kelley. How are you today?
Hi, I'm great. How are you today?
I'm wonderful, and along with her is her guest. And you'll hear from them later on because they have questions that they're going to share with her. But let's start with when you found out that you had kidney disease.
Okay, wow. It's such a long story, but I'm going to do an abstract. So, I was going to school for medical assistant and I actually got my certifications. So, I had to do my hours. While I was doing my hours, I was feeling like very tired and just weak, but I just thought it was for me doing school and, watching my son and, the whole motherhood life. But then one day I said, I'm going to go to the ER because I was not feeling good. I was just, like I said, very weak. I could barely walk. So I went to the ER after my hours that day and they took blood work. They had an IV, they did tests. And then the doctors told me that I had kidney failure. And I'm like, wait a minute, kidney failure. And that was back in June of 2016. Back in June of 2016. That's when I got diagnosed with kidney failure. Right after that, I had to do training for PD, which is peritoneal dialysis. I was on that first. And that's when they put a tube in your abdomen to collect all the toxins out of your blood instead of doing hemo. And eventually that didn't work out for me, because I started retaining the fluid for my body. Because what you would do is get fluid put into your abdomen and it would sit there for a few hours. Then you would have to drain it out, the toxins. But eventually my body started retaining the fluids and I was harboring fluids in my legs, my back, my face, and in my lungs as well. I could barely walk or breathe. And I blew up like a balloon. People thought I was like pregnant. I'm like, no, it's the dialysis. And then eventually in May of 2018, I switched over to hemo because I was just in bad health. I was nearly dying. And it was just really bad for me, really, really bad for me. So I switched over to hemo. At first, they had put a temporary catheter in my chest. I would show the markets over here. They put a temporary catheter in my chest, and I did dialysis. The first time, it was like all day, 24 hours, and they got all that fluid off of me. And eventually, they put the fistula in my arm. And now I do dialysis 3 days a week, through the fistula. And right now I'm on the transplant list, just waiting, for a transplant.
Let's talk about what does it actually feel like waiting for a kidney.
It's not easy because, you're waiting on that call. And then when you do get the call, which I've gotten a few times, oh, a kidney is available, but then you have to look at the numbers. And like I said, the last kidney call I received, the creatinine level was too high. So I was thinking to myself, because I know the doctors told me, make sure you listen for the numbers before you say yes to a kidney. So like I said, the creatinine level was too elevated. And I'm thinking, okay, if I get this kidney and take it, and once I get the kidney, if it keeps going up the creatinine level, which is how strong or weak your kidney is, then I could go into kidney failure again and end up on dialysis. So I had to reject that kidney. But also, you don't always have to accept a kidney. And like I said, you can reject it if it doesn't sound good for what you want. So yeah. But it's a struggle, every day. Cause sometimes you think like, oh, sometimes when I go to dialysis, it's like it's a mental thing, when I go in there, I have to mentally amp myself up to go in there because you don't know how treatment is going to go. You don't know if you're going to bleed out or if you're going to clot or you might faint. I've seen people faint in dialysis, where the ambulance has to come get them and take them out. And I'm just thankful that God lets me walk out of there and drive home, not in an ambulance so it's scary. It's scary though, waiting for a transplant because you don't know when we're not guaranteed tomorrow. We could just keep doing what we're doing every day, but we're not guaranteed. So, and that's why when you're a dialysis patient, you have to take very good care of yourself because like I said, every day is not guaranteed. Any little thing, if you eat too much potassium, that can go in your bloodstream, and then you can get septic from there, and that would be it. So diet is very important as well. So it's a waiting game. It's a long waiting game. And the process, like I said, is long with the transplant unit. You have to give blood work every month. They have an evaluation. And actually, the transplant unit, the staff, they are watching you like a hawk. If you're missing treatments, cutting treatment short, they're looking at all of that. And I'm going to be honest, I have cut treatment short for circumstances, but they look at all of that because they're thinking, well, we're going to give you a kidney, but you don't want to comply with treatment. Why should we trust you with a kidney? So it's very difficult. You got to be like perfect so they can keep calling you. So yeah, I'm trying, but I'm holding on. I'm holding on. So yes.
So as a double lung transplant recipient, I received my gift 16 years ago. I
Wonderful.
understand meeting the criteria
Right.
for receiving your gift of life.
Right.
But what are some of the things that you had to do to actually qualify to get listed? A lot of people don't understand that process. Share that with us.
You got to have kidney failure, number one. And then you got to start dialysis, either PD or hemo. Like I said, I was on transplant list during PD and during hemo, so it doesn't matter. And like I said, you go to evaluation and you meet with the surgeon, the surgeon who's going to do the actual transplant, the nurse practitioner, you have your dietitian, and you meet your kidney doctor too, but the one that's going to be in charge of you when you're in the hospital. That's an all-day process. This evaluation is all day. You meet all the doctors. They take blood work from you that day. They take like 12 tubes of blood. You can't eat anything before you go because you have to fast throughout the night before you do this. And then they just sit there. They talk to you about getting a donor who's either alive, a living donor, or a deceased donor. That's a process that you could pick. If you know someone alive who will be willing to do it, great. Or if you want to just wait for a deceased person, great too. So, and then, like I said, you speak with all the doctors. And then after the evaluation, they take blood work once a month at the dialysis unit. Or if you're doing PD, when you go in, they'll take it there at the clinic. And that blood work is for cross type, for when they're trying to match your blood with the donor's blood to see if it matches. So, you could get your kidney transplant. And they do check up on you like every 3 months. They call to check up how you're doing with your medication. They actually call the clinic and the staff to check up if you're doing treatments, if you're not cutting treatments, if you're complying, like I said before. And then that's the waiting game. But in the meantime, too, you also got to prepare yourself and your family. Like I have a son, so I already have a game plan of what I'm going to do with my son once they call me and I'm like, okay, this is the kidney for me. So like I said, you got to get that planned ahead of time. What else? If you have a job, if you're working too, let them know, hey, I'm on the transplant kidney list and I need to rearrange some, different plans just in case the right kidney comes for me. So make sure you do planning ahead of time, not just a month or two, but like a year or two, because you want to make sure you have solid plans from when you get this transplant, because the recovering is also a process as well.
Let me ask this question because I heard you say you've been waiting over 5 years.
Yes.
Now, I know January of 2023, they changed the requirements as to the EGFR. Did that affect you in any way and moved you up on the list?
Well, actually, when I went to my last transplant, it was just like a annual evaluation. They told me that they went back to when I first got sick with kidney disease. And they said they took it from that date. So that made me move up even more to the top of the list. So that's what the nurse practitioner said to me. So I think it did affect me, but in a good way, because it moved me up more. Because she said, oh, well, you're way over 7 years now. So, and then I'm thinking, wait, when did I first get died? Like really when it started failing, did I not know? Or did they tell me when I was in the hospital? So it had me thinking like, when did it really start happening, So yeah, I think it affected me positively because I moved up on the transplant list. That's why I get frequent calls for a kidney. Yeah. So.
Now, I have one more question, and
Mhm.
then we're going to stop and see if your guests want to ask a question during this time. You said you received a call. Who
Yes.
made the call to you about offering you a kidney?
Usually it's my oh my gosh. She's usually my transplant social worker. She'll be the one to call me, or the nurse practitioner, or the staff that's there. It's usually rant like different people, whoever's available, but usually it's the nurse practitioner, or it'll be my social worker for my transplant unit. And she'll call me, or he, but it's always been a woman, and they'll call me and let me know, hey, we have a kidney available. She'll tell me the numbers, and then like on the spot, do you want? Yes. And I'm like, can I think about it? And they're like, things like this move quick. So usually it's the nurse practitioner.
We're going to stop and see if any of your guests have a question now.
Don't be shy.
Yes, yes, yes. So I have a couple questions.
Okay.
So one, did you still work um once what were you still working, or are you still working as you're going through this process?
No, not at all.
No.
Because the schedule with dialysis does not fit how they want us to work out there. Because usually these businesses want you there Monday through Friday and have
Mm-hmm.
dialysis 3 days a week. Sometimes they don't work with you with the schedule. So, and then they don't want people just working 2 days a week unless we're part time or not even part time. And that's not pointless, but that's not really going to do much. So, but they do have a
Mm-hmm.
program with Social Security, which I do get, and they help us. It's called Ticket to Work program, and they do help us find employment. Or I'm an entrepreneur, or I do my own little stuff. So yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right,
No,
right.
I'm not working. No, not employed. No.
So you say they put you on the list immediately?
They do. But once you do evaluation and once they see you're complying, you got to be on hemo or PD dialysis. Yes. Once all of that clears and they approve you, like when the whole group talks, like they said, then they approve you and you get on the transplant list. Because the evaluation is first. That doesn't mean you're on the list yet. You got to get through that. Once they approve you, like the whole gang, then you can get on. Yeah. And then they'll
Uh,
send you a letter in the mail. They might even call you and let you know, hey, you've been approved for the transplant list. This is the next steps. And then they reach out to the clinic wherever you're at doing dialysis, so they could take the monthly blood work. And then they start doing the calls, checking up on you, watching you like a hawk. So
mhm.
that's when everything starts.
No, again, for you to be so pleasant, and it's just amazing. And it's been recent since 2016, correct? So
Right.
my last
Yes. Yes.
yeah, my last question is, so were they how many times did they offer you one that you had to refuse? And what were some of those reasonings?
Okay, so the last kidney call, that was I think that was my fourth call within, because it started up in last October and they were calling me since then. That was, I think, either my fourth or fifth. Yeah, I think it was my fourth kidney that they called. And actually, when they called me the first time, I think I was on the Grameen meeting. Do you remember that morning? And I had to go. Yes,
Yeah.
that was the first one right there. And I rushed and I was like, Mom, they
I
called me for the kidney.
do.
Yes. And then then they said, well, you gotta be here by 12 o'clock in the morning. They wanted me there earlier, but then they moved it. So me and my family went out there like to Livingston, like at night. It was crazy. And then we was there. They did blood work on me. They did an EKG. And then actually before I left, they called me and said there was a second kidney. So they were testing that one and testing the first one in the same day. But I stayed there overnight. They told me they weren't compatible with me. It wasn't my blood type. I think the first three were not my blood type, but the last one was. I'm O blood type. So they
Hmm.
said it's very rare. But that one,
Hmm.
like I said, was my blood type, but the creatinine level was too high,
It's
and that's
too
why I
high.
rejected it. Yeah. So I was like, oh no, because if it's high now, how's it gonna go down if it gets in my body? Because that's why I'm here. So
Hmm.
I rejected
Exactly.
that one. So
Thank you,
yes,
Kelly.
you're welcome.
My question is, what is a PD and you said a HO? I'm thinking
Oh
hemoglobin
yeah,
number.
sorry. PD is peritoneal dialysis, and then
Okay.
hemo is hemodialysis. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And they
Okay.
say hemo because blood, hemo is blood,
Okay.
and PD,
Uh-huh.
it's in the abdomen area. Yes.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah, I
right.
just say
Okay.
PD
Thank you.
to make it short, but it's peritoneal dialysis and
Uh-huh.
hemo is hemodialysis. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So yes, I'm just very proud of you. You
Oh,
always cheerful, and I'm praying for you.
thank you so much. Thank you guys. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Once you get your kidney, what is like the downtime in the process? How long is the surgery?
The
Do they-
surgery, they said that they told me that, see, I think it's different for a living donor that surgery is, obviously is a day, right? But I think you spend at
Mhm.
least 7 days in a hospital. But they told me for mine, I would spend 10 days in a hospital. And then the healing process, that's just up to my body, how long. But I'm
Mhm.
assuming it's a month or two, because when I
Oh,
had my open heart surgery, my healing process was like 2 weeks. But I was up within days moving around. I was like, I gotta get out of here and move. But I think this one is gonna be a little longer because it's actually an organ coming into my body. So my body gotta get used to that, and see what this is. So I think it's gonna take, I'm assuming a month or two, but it also depends on my body, my health, and how fast I move because I heal pretty quick. So, but I'm not gonna rush this time. I'm gonna let my
Okay.
body do its thing. But that's in the air. But I'm gonna just say 1 to 2 months, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. That's a good question.
Kelley, I know that you just recently graduated and now you are Dr. Kelley Neal.
Dr.
Share
Kelley.
with us, woohoo! Share with us all about that experience.
Oh my goodness. It was a bittersweet moment. I say bittersweet because my family could not be there. So I went to my ceremony alone. Yes. But I said, at least I'm here with everybody else with their family. So I still felt like this is my family too. And I still enjoyed the moment. I still went. I still had a good time. I took my pictures alone. I was fine. But it was such an amazing feeling because first, when I was nominated for the award, I said, I've never been nominated for an award. And then when Miss Angela Vett, I love her, she's amazing. When she called me that day and she said, I'm going to nominate you for an award. I said, me? Like, what kind of award? I was surprised. And she said it was the honorary doctorate. I was like, oh, wow. And I asked her why, why? Because at first I didn't really understand what it meant. And then she was like, well, because her brother was dying from kidney disease. And I was visiting him like once a month or every other month just to like try to bring him some type of, I don't know, inspiration or try to, because she felt like he was going downhill. And she said, I need somebody to boost him up or give him some type of inspiration. And I was like, I'll come see him. I'll come see him. I don't mind. I went all the way up North Jersey. And I forgot how far. It was like an hour drive from here, from where I live, because I stay South Jersey by the beach. So I went all the way up north to see him. And I remember the first time that I went to see him, he looked at me, he said, what's your story? I was like, I'm here to help you. And I packed him like a little goodie bag, like a man shaving kit, a mirror, because I told him I wanted him to do affirmations when he got up in the morning. I told the nurses, make sure y'all shave him and, something to like make him feel like he's more alive, like here, better about himself. And then so I went there and we spoke. And Miss Angela loved that. She just loved that I would go out there, spend time with her husband, and her brother. And unfortunately, he passed away, but I was there for the ceremony. So, but it was very sad to hear that. And then I know she was just so excited for me just helping her. And I was a complete stranger to her. And I said, no, this is what I want to do. I don't care if I'm a stranger. I want to help. I want to make someone feel better about themselves. Whatever I can do, if I could give them a little push or a little plug to wake up a little bit, then I didn't mind. Now that I got that, now I'm thinking, I want to do my own ministry now. Cause I'm like, oh, if I can help others and probably even get a bigger audience and help more people, I can probably build a whole ministry, to help people really uplift people and get them better, closer to God too, healthier, give them awareness of any diseases or illnesses I was going through. So I'm just very proud of that moment. Thank you for asking that. Yes.
Well, that was truly a blessing.
Yes.
So let's talk about kidney coach. What is the correct name of the service that you provide?
Kelley Kidney Health Coach. Yes, it's my page, my Facebook page. I love that page. That's my page. Yeah, that's my on there. I talk about everything. I talk about everything. I talk about all the procedures I've had. I give advice about, just drinking your water, eat your fruits, watch your medication, things like that. I'll do videos, reels. I'm actually planning on doing a first Q&A for my group. They're dying for me to go live. I'm like, because at first I wanted to go live when I first got it, but Facebook, you have to have over 100 followers to go live. So I'm over 100 followers. So now I can go live. So I'm planning one very soon. And actually, a lot of my followers, like not a lot of them, but some of them are actually going through the same stuff. Some of them, or even family members that are going through kidney health disease or open heart surgery or whatever else they're going through. And it feels good when they ask me questions and I answer. And they're like, oh, okay, thank you. And so it feels good to have that page.
Question: what inspires you to teach people about your kidney health coach and stuff like that in dialysis?
Okay, what inspired me? Ooh, um, personal life experience. Just my experience. I've just, you know what? Going through hemo really opened my eyes. Like, because at first, like I said, I did PD. I was at home. But when I got to hemodialysis, when I got to the clinic, when you go in there, it's like an eye opener because you see things that you don't want to see. You see, like when I go in there, I see a lot of elderly people. And because there's a few young of us here and there, but you see a lot of the elderly people. They have like some of them missing limbs, some of them are just very sick and just fragile. And then I think to myself, like, what can I do to prevent someone younger than the individuals I see to get on dialysis or to get sick, or if they're going through depression? Because at one point I went through depression too, and I got over that too. So I was like, what can I do to help others so they won't have to go through this? Because I don't want nobody going through nothing I went through. Nothing. So that's when I just started to just tell people about what I've been through. And then, like I said, I made the page. So that way, if anybody has any personal questions or they want to know anything personal, they just can go on that page and just see all the information I had there. But like I said, it was through personal experience is why I like to help and share the awareness with individuals. And because I just feel like sometimes with doctors, this is just my opinion. I don't know about everybody else. My opinion, when I dealt with doctors, I felt like they were not always on my side. I just felt like, oh, she's sick, throw her away. That's how I felt until I was like, you know what? I have to take control of my own life. Because now that I think back, like I said the other day, I was cleaning out my cabinet and I found bags and bags and bags of medicine that I did not take. And I was like, I'm thankful that I didn't take all this medicine because on my opinion, like I said, I feel like I wouldn't be here right now if I would have took all that medicine. I just felt like the doctors weren't trying to solve what was going on. They were just trying to mask it with medicine. And that's why I was like, this is why I want to help. So I can help prevent people from just letting these doctors just take over. Because if you could do stuff naturally, organically, you can feel a lot better. I used to have hypertension. My hypertension was stroke high, 2 something over 2 something. That's stroke high. And I'll go to the hospital. They're like, I don't know how you're still walking. And I'm like, well, my body's used to it being this high. But they had me on all these blood pressure medications. And I stopped taking the medication and I just took out sodium out of my diet, started drinking more water, things like that. And my blood pressure, I have normal blood pressure now. Normal. They think it's the medicine. I tell them all the time, it wasn't the medicine. I just stopped taking the medicine because it wasn't helping me. And like I said, I just want to bring awareness to individuals and just to let them know that don't give up, just keep trying. Because at one point I was in the dark and I did not give up. And I kept trying and look, I'm better now. I'm better now. I'm still working on myself, but I'm better now, so. That's the only medicine I'm on right now. It's metrepilol. That's for my heart rate because I do have a pacemaker. So I got the pacemaker because my heart was stopping at one point. And the pacemaker, if it feels my heart stopping, it'll pump it and like bring it back. It's weird. It's cool though. It's like the new gadget one though. It's like a little device and it's on the inside of my heart. Because I know the old pacemakers are like a box looking thing, but this one is the new one. It's in my heart. But like I said, I was on Norvasc, Claudidine. I'm on metrepilol right now. That's the only medication I'm taking. I really cut back on junk food, snacks, things like that. I try to cook home more because I do eat out from time to time, but I control it. I try to get the low salt chips as well, but not too much. Because if you eat too much potassium or phosphorus, that could be bad for us on kidney failure, you know. What else did I do? I just did that, and stress too helped too with my blood pressure, you know, stress. I try to lower that too. Keep myself occupied with different things that'll make me stress. But yeah, it was a process though. It didn't happen right away, you know, but it was a process, but it worked. It worked out for me. Just change your diet, you know? So that's what I did for a while and it worked. It really worked. Yes.
Once you receive your transplant,
Right.
you do realize that you'll be on medications for the rest of your life.
Right.
Will you have that same attitude once you get your transplant? Because as a transplant recipient myself, your body is then immunosuppressed.
Right.
And you have to keep those medications in you so that your body will not kick that transplanted organ out.
Right.
So how do you think you'll adjust to taking those medications? And you take them, basically, the majority of us take them every 12 hours.
Right. So that was an issue I was talking to my mom about a few days ago. And I told her, I heard it's like 40 pills we got to take per day after the transplant. That's what I remember from the evaluation. She was telling me about 40 pills per day for like 3 months. I was like, no, I don't. I'm anti-medicine. But I know for me to get my kidney transplant, if I have to do this, then I will do it though. I will do it. I really want to get off of dialysis and actually live a better life or live a more free life, not so restricted to this machine that I'm on. So, but yeah, I thought about that, and I know I'm going to have to do that, and I'm willing to do that to get off of dialysis and, live a more normal life.
I see Deborah has a question. We're going to stop and take her question.
Okay, Kelley. Are there any kind of holistic things that you're doing? Because you talked about all the medications. Like, are you juicing? Are you doing beet juice more? Because that's supposed to be good for kidneys and liver. Is there anything you're doing?
Okay. Well, the only thing I'm really doing right now, I just completely, like I said, I just changed my diet. Nothing holistic yet. Like, I'm just drinking more water. I trying to go back to the gym. Like, I just changed my diet. I said stress too, because I know stress was really like bothering me a lot, like killing me a lot. I don't do nothing holistic yet because I still am doing like a little research on that before I try anything like that. So
we're going to go on now, Kelley, and talk about this part I've been wanting to hear about. You're an author now. Congratulations.
Yes.
So I'm excited to hear about your book. Come on and promote that book, Still Here.
Yeah. Well, this is the cover of my book. Can you guys see it a little bit or no? Yes? Better? This is my book, Still Here, my baby, my biography. Oh my gosh. This book, it was supposed to be done in months. It took me a while to write this book because when I wrote this book, like it took me back to so many different times in my life. And I start the book off when I'm about 15. It goes to that, but I started off when I was a young child, like around 8 or 9 years old. So it jumps. But my book. Basically in my book, I write about my struggles, just dealing with depression, dealing with sexual abuse when I was a child, dealing with being bullied in school. Like I said, I start off when I'm a child, then I go into adulthood. Then I talk about, when I got diagnosed with lupus at the age of 15, I was diagnosed with lupus. And then it's just a domino effect after that. I go into detail about everything after that. First the lupus, then anemia, then my first open heart surgery. Then I had my second open heart surgery. Then they hit me with the kidney disease, now dialysis. So it is really intense, my book. And when I wrote the book, I told my writing coach, I want to write the book and I want to make sure that the person that's reading my book, I want them to feel like they're sitting right there with me. Like I really wrote very detailed about even the smells of where I was at, how it looked, the way I felt, because I want you to feel like you're right there with me. I love this book and I can't wait for everybody to read it. I hope that it can bring some inspiration to many women in poverty, women, single mothers like me, women in poverty, like I said, women that are dealing with illnesses, with depression, just trying to elevate their lives, be entrepreneurs, or just be better in life, trying to get over an illness or not to give up. Even at one point in my book, I write about suicide, that I almost committed suicide, so it's a lot. It's a lot. So I hope that everyone enjoys the book because I really put my heart into my book. That's my baby. Yes.
Kelley, before we close out,
Yes.
tell us how we can get a copy of Still Here.
Well, they can pre-order my book. And then they can either go through PayPal, Cash App, or Zelle, or they could just email me so I can put them on a pre-order list.
Well, we certainly appreciate the time you have spent sharing that kidney story. I'd like to thank your guests who showed up and asked their questions. And with that thought in mind, I certainly hope that everybody enjoys the remainder of your day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.